I'm just gonna go look and see if we have all our supplies. Like this. So this year's magic is the avocado dragon egg. Let me say this again. It is Christmas of 2023, and this year's magic is the avocado dragon egg. Brought to you by Khaleesi. Okay. So right now, you should be computing in your brain, Daenerys Targaryen. Okay. What is the difference between the pine cone dragon egg and the avocado dragon egg? And you should compute those dots, and it should say filling. Filling. So the pinecone dragon egg was for slither and bone grafting, and now we're gonna fill it in. There was almost nothing more scary than holding the pinecone, knowing it was gonna be a grenade and it was gonna backfire everywhere. This one doesn't have the same effect. Let me tell you why. See how it's a live avocado? See how you can eat it? Let me say this again. See how you can eat it? You see how it's not a weapon to light on fire and throw at somebody? Let me say this again. Do you see how the avocado dragon egg is not a weapon that you can light on fire and then throw at somebody? It's also not blessed by the hedgehogs that would turn that magic into Hufflepuff. So here we are. Filling. So this is going to be accompanied with the Ophanim magic on the planet. So it's going to be McKenna's Ophanim magic grid. You should probably do about 1 to 3 hours a day of Ophanim gridding if you're in Ravenclaw or plan to be. There's also this rule for our Telomere binding grid. 2 a day. Let me say this again. 2 avocados a day. Do you have a family of like 6 children? Can you do the math around that? Can you budget for it? Can you budget for it magically, where you know when eat later becomes ripe? Let me say this again. Can you budget for it? Plan throughout the week how to eat your 2 perfect avocados a day. Oh, I'm hearing that's kind of like a prerequisite for actual Slytherin. Let me say this again. If you do not know how to budget, rest aside if you have no money in life. Okay. We need to get you into Hode. If you have no money in life, we need to get you into Hode where at least you can make money. If you do not know how to budget for 2 avocados a day, there is an issue with your Netzach. 7th house Netzach. Okay, let me say this again. 7th house Netzach. So it's like we're Auror striping at 2 Auror stripes eventually down the road. So that is, if we pull this apart. Oh no, don't pull. Let's do it the nice way, where I actually cut it with a nice knife. Okay. That was kind of a dirty knife, but doesn't matter. So your avocado should look like this when you eat it. Let's say this again. Your avocado should look like this when you when you eat it. So you need to learn. Let me say this again. You need to develop the intuition required to pick, ripen, choose, and eat these avocados in the appropriate order. Okay. Do you see how it is a nice filled-in clippeth with all of these opening, beautiful healing energy inside of it? And then there is this nice dragon egg ore stripe. So here's one ore stripe. One ore stripe. And then here is two ore stripes. You see how it says eat later? So I messed up. Because I can't cut this open and it's not going to ripen. I'm just going to waste my money. So you're going to learn how to do this like budgeting thing with really high level magic. We're going to train your brain how to work correctly. Let me say this again. We're going to train your brain to work with natural growth, metabolism, aging processes, how to ripen something naturally with the appropriate intuition and mathematics. This is really important for good magic. You're going to have to learn when you're allowed to push your student, like just kill your student, but not kill your student. You're going to have to learn really advanced techniques down the road and how to read energy at a perfection level and understand every avocado comes at a price. Where do I buy my avocados? How do I get the highest CRI return from just my purchase of avocados? So just that at a baseline. All right. We're all getting older. We're like aging, and we were put through Gabriel. So the idea of just putting avocado on our faces feels kind of nice, but it doesn't really work like that. If you are doing the intestinal wall repair, maybe you're going to get the hint to then do a liver cleanse, an A&R liver cleanse, which we will talk about in another video. And then after your A&R liver cleanse, maybe during your A&R liver cleanse, you'll add your 2 avocados a day for the year. And maybe it's after the A&R liver cleanse, you'll start the telomere binding diet, which was on the previous video. All right, so let's get to the real activity. Here is my actual telomere binding law. I should be doing yoga at least once a week. Let me say this again. I'm not doing yoga at all right now. So then I'm going to start at once a week. So I bought my new Gryffindor yoga grid. Yay. And I let go of my old yoga mat for my Gryffindor lasagna yoga mat. Yes, it's a giant Manduka mat. And then it's got all this, I got the towel with the flower of life on it as like the sweat keeper. So here's our Gryffindor lasagna, kinda. Yeah, because I'm not really a Ravenclaw. Oh no, there's no light. Now it's really bad. you know, because I'm Archangel Kamael. So I have to do both. It's awful. Oh no. Okay. So we bought that. So I have to I'm gonna fold that into my schedule. So let's talk about telomere binding at a physical level or physical activity. It's weightlifting and yoga, and that works at the bone structure. Let me say this again. Yoga and weightlifting. And it works at the bone structure. I would like to put, over the next 7 years of my existence, 2 stripe ores into my bones. Let me say this again. Over the next 7 years, I would like my thought forms to have physically manifested in my bones at a double stripe ore daily. Let me say this again. Over the next 7 years, I would like to see in my cellular bone structure a 2-stripe ore pattern. Okay, so with our yoga mat, so these are my Christmas socks, right? But these are the telomere binding yoga socks. So for the next 3 days, I'm going to be wearing these on top of all the binding ribbons that we do as a punishment. And we're gonna show you why. The next other logical activity is proper cleansing, but rubbing your skin and getting into your muscles and actually activating all your cellular repair from a physical level. So actually doing a body scrub. So we have our socks and we have our body gloves. So I'm bound, at least by activity. Every day I scrub my body, I scrub my skin, and I scrub my face, and I even scrub my hair, and I stay more youthful just at a natural level. All right, so I'm not cute enough for Chris Pratt. Let me say this again. All of us Ravenclaw women have to be like hyper intelligent and not narcissist movie stars. And we also have to do everything at a non-Botox level where we're not contributing to the global destruction or the reptile economy by doing plastic surgery. So we all have these like weird soulmates that are only used to these gross movie stars or models all day long, and they all think we're ugly. And it's disgusting, and it's really sad. So just know you're not alone. It's actually one of the saddest, most disgusting things on this planet, and they're all beasts. They're all vain narcissists, pieces of shit that would kill us just because we don't look like a model. So, this is our answer in life. We have to actually ask Mother Earth to give us half. Let me explain this. And I can hold this grid. And if I can hold this grid, then you guys can hold this grid. How do I stay at least half as pretty without doing any of that narcissism, plastic surgery, assault? Completely naturally. How do I, at 40, be at least half as good looking as an LA 9 And then also just shit on the person that thinks that they're going to marry me and then tells me I'm not cute. In their brain. So that I'm like 10 times too good for them. I am 50 times too smart for them. I am 100% more psychic than them. I am actually a saint incarnate and a practicing witch magician, ascended master. So how do I contain my self-disappointment that I'm not gonna look like a reptile trophy wife ever? Ever. How do I contain my just massive, like I'm not allowed to go get Botox or plastic surgery. I'm not allowed. Because if I was allowed to do that, I wouldn't be allowed into Netzach. So we're like making promises with Mother Goddess. Like, how do I do it where I'm not a hippie? How do I do it where I feel good inside and where I feel beautiful and like I feel good enough? And that's like the real key. How do I do it where I feel like I'm glowing? And it's not about anybody else other than your own internal opinion, period. But it's always like, it's a wound we're all going to be carrying forever. And they're not developed in any, like, let me tell you this. Marshall Mathers is the most enlightened man on this planet. Let me say this again. Marshall Mathers is the most enlightened man on this planet. And he tells me to wear makeup every day. And my videos are missing something. He's also my bestie in the soulmate way. So how do we do it? Telomere binding. And how do we ask Mother Earth for help? So we're going to get 3 red ribbons on each finger that are these small ribbons, and we're going to tie them. And we're going to go prevent me from doing the actions in which actually create self-harm or destruction to my body, to my brain, or to just my pure cellular field. Let's bring in the deeper red ray into our body. Yeah. So they're all vain. Let me say this again. They're all vain. So you need at least 3 knots. 3 knots and you're okay. This is a very old ritual in actuality. It's kind of druid. Where you would have these long streams of knots. But you don't need that, and it's kind of wasteful. And you can keep the telomeres short. And you're going to be, it's almost like we're creating the miniature repellosquibtum charms, but we're doing it on our appendages. And we're calling, they're self-restriction binds. So we're chopping the DNA that's not useful for a 7th house Netzach, in essence. So these are small 7-inch. Some of them are 9 inches by accident. These are small. And this might take you an hour to get through all of them. So in a minute, I'll pause the video and I'll do them all. And then I will. So you're gonna take a bath with this for 3 days. You're gonna cook with this for 3 days, and until it sinks in. And it's usually through the winter moon and the winter solstice, but we're like a day late. You can do this next year. You can do it the following year after, and it will work in correspondence. Oh no. So I can't get the third knot, and I wonder why can I not get the third knot? So that's where you know you cut the ribbon a little too short. So I'm never going to have a soulmate where I feel insecure about my physical self, because that's disgusting. And in Ravenclaw, we figured it out that the mathematics of this planet are actually like that. We're going to do it in the She Said videos. The reason why plastic surgery exists to begin with is because that is where all of the men are actually at. Even the spiritual men. Please do not think that you're above it. They're all cheaters. They're all narcissists. They're all like, where is Jesus? Where's Jamie Bell right now? He married Kate Mara, who's now a confessed person because of all of her reptile stuff and all of her plastic surgery and all of her everything. All right. So back when we were at war, fighting off all the knife rape, me and Kelly were like collecting our red ribbons. So this is kind of part of the ritual from that. So we get our three straps, and we are going to tie them into our beautiful knot. So it's much easier to do this on the bigger appendages, and we only need 3 stripes on each, and then 3 stripes on each little appendage. Oh, this is so boring. I can pause it and go get my own ribbons and do it along with you. So right there, you're creating a mental bind that wasn't there previously. These are mental agreements at deeply unconscious levels of how you will treat yourself, of how you will think about yourself, and then maybe how you might even be able to elevate in a magical capacity and learn actual youthing DNA ceremony work. So I like to go with the undersell, where it's not even magic, it's just pragmatic, and then maybe it upgrades into actual magic. That's cool. Oh no. So right now I have 3 stripes. But I'm going to put on 2 more, and we're going to go, oh, this is just those 5-stripe net socks that Kelly put online for Lil Wayne. So until we get it to the point where the males realize that they are required to be the peacocks on the planet, and we are required to just be plain ducks, Like the men are the ones that are required to be the beauty queens naturally, and the women are actually just fine in their natural space because they're the alphas. Until it's there, we know that Mother Goddess is still not being worshipped. Let me say this again. Until the men realize that they're required to be the male mallard duck, or they're required to be the male peacock, they are required to be the LA9 or LA10, and they are required to actually be attractive to their female alpha brain, alpha master mate. We know Mother Goddess or Mother Maleficent hasn't started or begun to work yet. Let me say this again. Netzach, in most of the animal lineages, it's the male who has to be the pretty one. And until you can feel good and confident about yourself and actually enjoy your real self-love, knowing that the male is required to be the pretty one, you know you haven't entered real Netzach yet. And as you enter, like they all have all the money, and we have to do all the free slave labor. So we know that that's not Netzach. Netzach is actually the female pheromone is way high valued. And we would produce an alpha intelligent offspring. We'd be better parents. And we're actually able to be like, it's more sexually appropriate for them, period. Because we're not in horror space. We're in actual like empathy, feeling, intelligence, compassion space, presence space, which is actually way more attractive than like a physical veneer. Good conversation that's intellectually inspiring, higher quality of life, definitely better home care. And we're generally we're way more comfortable and confident in our skin, and that is 10 times more attractive. And we're just generally more fun and pleasant to be around. That. So that's what actually makes a good mate. So now I have my 5 stripe, my red 5 stripes. You guys don't need your red 5 stripes, but Kelly did hers intuitively as like, how do I do it on my wrists? So that's easy. So I'm going to do 3, 3, and 3. So now I am starting to come back to myself, realizing my own innate sense of female wisdom that has been acquired through the ages. These are all what I will not receive in life. It's going on the left hand. What I will not. So sometimes that's like, I'm not going to receive drug money. So that's gross. How about I'm not going to receive like trashy food, even by accident or just indulgence? See how they're fraying? How about I'm not going to receive demonic energy going in and out of my astral plane so I feel like a schizophrenic all day? Where I have to channel a delusional person just to vet how dangerous they are for the planet. So I don't like that ever. It's different when I'm channeling Lucifer. He's clean and funny. It's different when I'm channeling Odessa. She's sharp and she's shrewd. She's inspiring. She's full of fresh air. She's a giver and an educator. She's not filled with excuses or illogical, like, you know, when your brain is stuck in processing. It's like a never-ending miasma. So somebody's saying, like what I received from Brook and Star. Yeah, like what I received from Brook and Star. So you see how we've got the... So these are sacred promises. I'm going to get into 7th house Netzach at all expense to myself. To all expense of my ego. From the pit of the clippeth. Let's say this again. I will get into 7th house Netzach at all expense to myself. And this is hard because it's usually like a bleed. It's usually where somebody gets shot or stabbed or cut. You're like, you're gonna be in harm's way or facing dates. So this is you're ready for an adventure space. I was already there to begin with, but this is gonna reinforce that pattern. 7th house Netzach is mathematically mandatory. You're not going to evolve in a light consciousness capacity without a 7th house Netzach pass. Okay, so we've got our 3. So I'm not going to sit around feeling bad about myself all day long. All I'm going to remember is I'm not going to have a mate ever unless I feel like the ugly female duck and my mate knows that they have to be the pretty male duck or the peacock. And that's life. And that's an ascended master space. Period. And I am going to get there at all costs to myself because I hate this planet. I hate the way this planet is built. I hate how many women I've had to Photoshop. I hate how much plastic surgery I have seen. I hate that the beauty industry is sucking up billions of dollars on this planet. I hate everything. It's all against God's law. It's all against the law. It's all contributing to global economy decay and debt. It's all vanity nonsense. And I am trying to figure out, how do I make everything beautiful and stay natural at the same time? And that is the purpose and mandate of Ravenclaw. But so it's definitely the purpose and mandate of 7th house Netzach. So we got, as you do your telomere binding, you begin to feel more comfortable and confident in your own skin. Maybe if you're a male also. So John knew this. John was the one with the real true love on the planet in the pit of the Clippeth that really helps clean it up. So that's Groot. It's Groot, like Groot. So he was the one that understood a lot of these concepts in life at deep intuitive levels. And he goes, Chris Pratt's your trophy husband and not the reverse. Period. Especially when you're doing, it's not about love spells either. Don't think it's about love spells. It's about actually being compatible on a human soul level. Like the perfect. See, if you watch Krishna and Radha, there are so many pictures where Radha is just doing this. And Krishna has to come in like the big prancing peacock, because if it's at the Krishna level where Krishna has to be the peacock for Radha, then definitely it's for every single male on the planet. Let me say this again. If it's for Krishna and Radha level, that Krishna is the male prancing peacock, the beautiful guy that is attractive to his mate, then it's for every single man on this planet. That's very, very old knowledge. Okay, so we're gonna pretend that we can do our toes well. It might be easier because we have both hands. Try not to tie your fingers and your toes too tightly. Let me say this again. Oh no. So some of my strands are bigger than others. So I'm hearing somebody crack a joke. Yeah, I want the mother of my child to be a drug addict or a supermodel and then die of a drug overdose. So that's the delusion world. In the real world, it's I want the mother of my child to be the cool person that I'd actually like to hang around all day long. The person I'd actually like to talk to all day long because they're fascinating. The person I'd like to laugh with all day long because they're funny. Stuff like that. All right, so we're gonna do this on our toes, 3 a piece, and then our big toes, you know, if you cut one maybe a little bit bigger like this, there's our big toe one. So I have this. So we're gonna pause the video and I'm gonna do that now. Oh my God, I have to go outside like this. So there are these things called, they're like gloves that are like leather gloves that you can put over your hands. All right, so I ate my avocado. It's nothing. We're gonna revisit the baseline diet. I'm here. Oh my God, can you please do that with this screen share? Yes, I'll do it with the screen share. We actually had more than we thought we would. So we ended up taking the 4th extra ribbon and then tying it into as a secure each one of these sections and then doing another knot. So I'm going to show you what that would look like. And I'm going to show you on this foot, which are the last 2 things I have not done. So I just take the ribbon and I place it here at the toe. Ah, you can't even see it. There. Do you see where my finger is? I place it in and I take the scissors or a flat blade and then I shove it through and I try not to hurt myself. Maybe you want to do it with a needle. The flat blade is probably better if you have like curvy feet. You have to stick it all the way through. You're gonna bind the 3rd ribbon. Like there's another set of dots beneath. So you're like 3 red striping your own dots. So you're creating like a holographic mirror prism pattern that you have a full set of A&R marks. And it's almost like you have a 4th stripe at least. And so that didn't work. Let's try this again. Maybe I'm gonna go up the reverse way. Maybe I'm gonna do it from the top of the toe. It's all hard. Point is that you can now feel like you are in the repello squibtum of your own self. So, let me say this again. You're creating repello squibtum with your hands and your feet. I am not a squib. Period. So we have like little teeny red octopus charms on all our fingers. Next question. Some people talk about doing their hair. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea either, doing the ribbons in the hair. I have, you know, freshly cut hair, so it doesn't work so nicely then. I hear I need a black mama. Seriously. Just, it's different. It's a very different, I don't want to say it's a different culture. It's a different everything. Like my mother couldn't even braid my hair. Growing up, I had to go to like a soccer mom. We had one soccer mom in the white neighborhood that could braid people's hair. One, maybe 2. All right. So now This is what we have on ourselves for 3 days over the solstice. See how it's like beautiful and lovely? And we need to remember that these red ribbons need to be repurchased, and you're gonna have to create 500 at least. 500 of these Repelosquibtum knots. For every single ornament you're going to put on your blueberry tree next year. Let me say this again. You're going to make 500 Repelosquibtum knots. Not that look like this, but if you look on my Facebook, and you see the silver spoons, and you see the fancy red octopus tentacles. So that will be another video. But you'll probably make about 600, which means you probably need to make about 2 of these a day, which might be an hour a day. So it's an hour a day of knot meditations. And this is I am not a squib. An hour a day of I am not a squib meditations. Let me say this again. It's an hour a day of I am not a squib meditations. And you'll end up making all the octopuses so that you can put them and latch them into every single ornament. And then you'll tie that knot and the ornament together with a white ribbon when it comes time for Christmas or some Hanukkah bush or whatever, however you want to celebrate. You can get a Christmas tree. All right. Here's our Melissa oil. This is the inexpensive version. So we're going to take the Melissa oil. So Melissa oil smells like Hufflepuff to me. Let me say this again. I am at least going in through Tea Ferret. Melissa oil smells like Hufflepuff to me. So now I've laced my Repelosquibtum with the Melissa oil Hufflepuff charm. That is my intent, and it might make you sick to your stomach. You're going to take a bath in the Melissa oil a lot also throughout the year. Just know that. And you might lace every single one of your Repelosquibtums. Not like every single one of them you might douse in the Melissa oil. So maybe buying the inexpensive one first is probably your best friend. So this Melissa oil smells okay. I have had much better in my life. So it's like I'm grounding out my thought forms. And all of a sudden I start to feel like my grounding and my energetic body kind of coming to be in my own physical body. I'm gonna take a deep breath. So this was okay. Now, every single day, I'm going to take one of these CBD avocado baths with rose oil. And then every day, after I scrub my body every day, I'm going to rub the lotion on my like a Burt's Bees lotion, like a plain Burt's Bees lotion with like a drop of the rose oil all over my body. Or maybe it's the Melissa oil. It's one or the other. But these are the two oils for the telomere binding medicine. Oh, here we go. So here's the rose oil, the Tisserand. That was inexpensive. That was like 23 pounds. All right. So the point is that now my physical body, at a baseline is at a nice high vibe. Let's say this again. I am operating at a higher vibe than everybody else's diseased brain from the bottom of the clipith. So that nobody can like tell my DNA what to do ever. And I am alpha. Let me say this again. This is very low end, inexpensive magic. With the A&R work, my avocados every day, I'm ordering myself to be conscious at a daily level of my own ability of what I can eat and pay for and produce and receive like a mature individual. And now, with my at least it should be once a day yoga, at least like 30 minutes a day of sun salutations. That would be the nice level. Once a week of yoga at like 2 hours a day, or at 2 hour. Okay, so with that and with my scrubbing, so yoga, scrubbing, and then after my shower, my lotion with my rose oil, and I'm in Repello Squid. So like now I'm alpha. So now I'm in the highest level of youthing available to this planet. And I watched our video number 1 with the telomere binding diet with avocado and Brazil nuts and holy basil and black tea to minimize the coffee intake. Like the black tea also says, wake up. The English black tea said, wake up, we're red striping. You like the pun on that? So there are, what were the other foods? Red dal. What were the other foods we had on our list? Oh, there were a couple foods not on our list, like broccoli with tomato sauce. Nothing fancy. And then there are some spices out there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and light our candle. We have a whole other spool left. Maybe we'll save this spool for next year, or maybe we'll use the spool in making the big bad versions of the Repello Squibtum ornaments. What I mean the bad versions is that they're not the pretty small thin ones that are like jellyfish in the sky. They're the clunkier versions that are not the jellyfish in the sky. But, you know, that's life. So maybe we'll have like one giant one that's kind of made from the big spool, or a bunch of them sprinkled on top. And and it will mimic like the octopus ornament, the octopus on the earth ornament. That wouldn't be bad either. So the point is that earth element is run by the red ray. Let me say this again. Earth element is run by the red ray. It's owned by the red ray. So when we're red striping, it means we're going to hit earth element, and then there's a payment. Like, I have to produce money out of the blue. How am I going to do that? I have to produce exercise out of the blue. How am I going to do that? I have to produce travel out of the blue. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have, look, my yoga mat is a red stripe. Let me say this again. My yoga mat is a red stripe. So I'm going to have to produce yoga out of the blue. How am I going to do that? So it's about beginning. And when we get our good red striping, then like the A&R works. The A&R works easy. But nobody has any, like, nobody has blue marks yet. If I don't have blue marks, you guys don't have blue marks yet. But we can try. We're still working on it. I have another year, probably, of every day, like 3 hours a day of A&R work, just A&R work, to go get the blue stripes going. So we're beginning. We're in that sock, and we're beginning. This was from Archangel Lucifer. It's an avocado with a bow on it. So here's your avocado dragon egg. Who owns Nutsock? Somebody goes, Peter Pan. So that's Lucifer. So Lilith and Lucifer are big Nutsock owners. We create Nutsock out of the blue. And then we have Sabrina, who's Archangel Haniel, who's the Archangel of Nutsock. So this is the lineage. All right. So this is the closest to real you than you're going to get on this planet. The more work you do, the more red ray you put into the earth, the more you're going to actually have real Rapello squibtum in the future. If you're stuck in like future thinking thought, you need to do more of this, which is why we're going to spend the next year building 600 of those red octopuses to put on the ornament, because we are future thinkers instead of now time thinkers. And it's learning how to get into the now in the red ray as much as possible at like severity, but in a mushy avocado clay kind of way. All right, that's it. Go light your candle ceremony and then go take your nice telomere binding bath. You have 3 days of this. And then when you take them off, dispose of them in a sacred capacity. And that's it. Collie Run out.